Well, welcome back to another fun-filled episode of The High Ground. I'm Reed.
And I'm out.
And with us today, we have our very first special guest appearance, who we met a few weeks back at the Fallout Indiana fan celebration. Here with us today is Zombree. Zombree, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Well, today we like to keep things pretty informal, but just kind of seeing where the conversation takes us. So first and foremost, I think the first time you came up and talked to us, loved the outfit, loved the whole ensemble, the just the sheer dedication, time, effort, details you put into your cosplay. It's really next level.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm actually like a noob to the cosplay community. This was my very first event that I attended in cosplay, so it was very exciting for me.
Well, there's just a slight hint of nerve-wracking at the same time.
Yeah, just a little bit, stepping out. But actually, I've done theater since 6th grade, so like I'm used to being a character and kind of putting on a show. So it's kind of like, being another character in that way. So that's kind of what my channel is about, And so it was fun meeting some people that I actually follow too. Some people from TikTok. I got to meet Atomic Missy's one of them. So, that was really cool.
Yeah, and I think me and Matt have talked about this before. How it's we haven't I think the most we've ever done is maybe a T-shirt that's on theme, but that's about it as far as our bravery, at least to this point. But who knows? Maybe somewhere down the line.
Yeah, you never know. I started off just wearing, T-shirts, matching outfits or little backpacks, to go with it, to watch releases of certain movies. But if you're comfortable with doing that, I say go for it. It's so fun.
Well, we talked about that for the 25th release of Lord of the Rings. We talked about doing that, but he wouldn't let me bring my sword with me. He thought that was inappropriate to bring to movie theater, so we didn't do it.
Oh yeah, certain people nowadays might look at it like, oh, what's going on? Even if it's a prop weapon, I notice people have to put fake weapons on their posts because you never know, people might think it's real even if it's clearly not. But it's still pretty awesome. You guys could have wore capes or something, with the little leaf on of Lorian. Actually, my daughter, for her first birthday, we did a Shire theme, and she was a little Hobbit princess. So,
nice.
We're very much into Lord of the Rings. My husband got me into it.
Hey, you're definitely among friends.
That's awesome.
Well, see, I guarantee you'd be perfectly fine and definitely get away with it at a convention or something like that. But for some reason, I thought especially at such a late showing, the security guard surrounding the movie theater might give us a second look, or just maybe might have worked, maybe not, but better err on the side of caution, I suppose. So I think we might have touched on this at the event, and my memory is complete garbage, so please forgive me if I asked this before. But so just kind of starting us off, now if you got to think back, what was your first experience with Fallout in general? Was it the game? Was it just maybe some culture behind it, or what kind of got you into it in the first place?
Well, I've always been a gamer since I was young, but in high school is when I found Fallout New Vegas. And I played it for the first time, and that really got me. I didn't end up finishing it in high school, but I came back to it a couple of years later in college when I played Fallout 4. And I played that through, and I got obsessed with it. I just binged it and played the whole game. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I love this game. It reminded me of the first time I picked it up in New Vegas. And after that, I played New Vegas through. And to be honest, there was a patch of my life that I kind of lived life without video games and even TV for a while. And then I came back to Fallout intensely when the show, like when I heard about the show coming out. I was like, oh my gosh, my favorite game is actually becoming a show. And that's what got me obsessed again. And like a hyperfixation mode to where I wanted to get a cosplay. And my husband got me a Pip-Boy for Christmas. So I'm like, okay, I got to get my outfit together now. Like, I got my Pip-Boy, so I got to do it now.
Well, I mean, you just naturally have to create the rest of the ensemble after that. I mean, that's like that's the keystone to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I think, and I think Matt can attest.
You definitely got.
Oh, I think you cut out there, Matt. No, go ahead. I think you cut out. Go ahead.
So I would say you definitely got lucky with the Fallout TV show. For Reed and I, one of our biggest games, I'm not sure if we would call it our favorite games. We had so many games that we really, really loved playing as kids and still as adults. But one of the games we played most was Halo. And we were a little disappointed with our TV show that we got. So you have definitely lucked out with the Fallout TV show. It's been expertly done. And we're kind of jealous of that.
Oh, I feel you 100%. My husband is actually a big fan of Halo as well. And I played as a kid, especially Halo 2. That was the one I played a lot. But I was kind of like irked when they showed his face. And I'm like, you never see his face, in the games, It's always that you imagine you're Master Chief, in a way. But so when he took it off, it kind of like broke that image, And it was just, not as well done, I would say, unfortunately. Just a little, just the little bits of loot that you see in the show or lines they say, it's like, oh my God, that's what it's supposed to be, where the fans, are the ones that have a little edge into it, If you don't have heart into it, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Well, I think in that, and just...
Sure. He seems like a crybaby in TV.
Well, and I think, to your point, it's like, it's almost hard to get past it at that point. Cause it's like, okay, you've officially removed that mystery of it. And now you're putting a face to him. And so it's like, no matter what else, it could be awesome. It could be, a great story, great special effects, all that good stuff. But if I'm still stuck back here on, you revealed his face, you just ruined the rest of the show for me and didn't even allow me to give it a chance because I'm still stuck on that, no matter what happens next.
Yeah. Even some people were saying, with the Mandalorian too, when he removed his helmet, they're like, it took that mystery away because he's supposed to be Mandalorian. So I can see both sides of it for sure. The actor wants to show part of his face too. I think Pedro Pascal said something about he wanted to show that he was Mando. I don't know. But.
Well, and
I think everyone would have known already, that's Pedro Pascal.
Well, and Matt, feel free to disagree with me here, but I feel like it was a slight disappointment in that one, but I think for the angle they went as far as trying to humanize him a little bit more and really trying to bring home that kind of father figure type of role. And, I guess it could be argued that maybe it was necessary for that. So where, if you just had him with the mask the entire time, it was, it maybe not have seemed as wholesome or maybe not as, warm and, connect, able to connect as it did. But I don't know, Matt, what do you think?
So my viewpoint of that is growing up with Star Wars, you don't really you just kind of happen the Mandalorians you do see just happen to they just don't take the helmet off. Halo kind of went out of their way to make a point to not show his face. They'll show Master Chief taking his helmet off with his back turned, or they'll cut out they make a point to never show his face, where you never really had a Mandalorian focused show or TV. You had some episodes in the anime series where they have Mandalorians and rebels and everything, but they don't make and they talk about them never taking the helmets off, but they don't go out of their way to like they did with Halo. Hey, Master Chief purposely just never took his helmet off, and they never showed you his face. He did take his helmet off, I think, at the end of Halo 2 or 3. And they make a point to not show his face. And you just don't get that with the Mandalorians when we grew up. So I think there was a difference there and why it hit a little differently when Master Chief so quickly and so pointlessly showed his face. Like they didn't really character build Master Chief for very long. Had you had 2 or 3 seasons, maybe 4 seasons of not showing his face, and then you take the helmet off, it would definitely hit differently. But they just ripped that Band-Aid right off immediately. It seemed like for no reason at all. So it's kind of made it
scared. Watch it bleed. Yeah.
Like sitting here, I don't even remember why he took it off. He just kind of took it off.
Like it's supposed to be all casual, like, oh, this is just a normal part of the thing, and you have literally every fan in the audience going, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
You remember back, and this is slightly off in left field, but the first video game to actually do that. What was it? And I never actually played the game. I just know all the information surrounding it. But was it? You remember? Was it Samus? It was like is a character in a helmet. It was like in the Game Boy era type video game. Help me out. What was the name of that series? It was like the big catchaway was like once you beat the game, the main character took its helmet off, and it revealed that it was a woman the entire time. And there's like some big controversy around it. I'm spaced on the name. I have to look it up. It's like Samus or Samus. It's like a big Nintendo character. I'd have to look it up.
I can't.
No idea.
I'll look it up later. Ignore me. Anyways, so like you said, Fallout New Vegas being kind of got you into the mix. Continue to fall in love with Fallout 4, and then obviously with the show coming into play, I think I've admittedly I'm only about 5 episodes in. And we talked about this last time, how it's like modern shows when they're released, just the really lengthy nature of some of the episodes, where it's like I got stuff I got to do today. I don't know if I can watch for an hour and 15 minutes. But I think it's definitely done it justice from what I've seen so far. And like Matt said earlier, I think it's really hit or miss nowadays. Either they completely blow it, or it's like, okay, I can walk away satisfied with how they did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is like hit or miss with like shows, because it's either the fans are going to be really happy or they're going to be mad because why didn't it go this way or why didn't it go that way? But with Fallout, it's hard to go a certain way because there's so many different paths you take in the game. There's so many factions. There's so many ideologies. You're not going to please everyone. And there's people that love the Legion and there's people that hate the Legion. So it's like you're not going to make the people happy with the Legion when you're slaughtering the Legion. Or the people went mad over the Kings because why are the Kings are all ghouls, like the Kings were a cool part of New Vegas, they were like on free side, they're, why are they just ghouls, like we don't get to see them in their heyday like we did in the game. And so, that's what's hard for people. It doesn't fit like their perfect, version of what it should be. And that's why I like the fan films.
Yeah, that's fair. And I feel like it almost affords them a unique opportunity to where, they could do like the main season, but then it almost opens the doors to where they could do like a side story, like what's the name of it? Where it's like, okay, they may spend like a
spin-off,
like a spin-off to where it'll show the perspective of those various factions. And so to your point, if you have people that are diehard, Legion fans or diehard Brotherhood of Steel fans, whatever it may be, it's like, oh, there's a little something for everybody to where it can kind of balance out the time given to explore those, those factions, peoples, lifestyles, etc.
Oh, and I believe they plan on doing that, the main dev recently talked about they have years down the road planned for Fallout universe. So like I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to see amazing characters from different factions popping up,
Okay, so I got to ask. So going into it as a fan, you jumped into it with the show. Thoughts, perspective, like, hate, somewhere in the middle of Walter Goggins. As I feel like he, from what I've seen, it's like he essentially, not carried the show, but I feel like without him, it just doesn't have that extra punch that it makes it all the more enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah, that aura, as the kids say. I think he is an amazing actor. I've loved him in so many of the movies he's in. He is just a dynamic actor. You know, he just brings the energy and, yeah, like I said, the aura to it. So yeah, I love him so much. And I honestly think Ella Purnell is doing an amazing job as Lucy as well.
Yeah, she's not overbearing. She doesn't try to like
You know,
overdo it. She's a strong enough presence to where she can maintain the character and she can stay on board, I think, for the long term if it ends up being that. And yeah, I think just in general, a pretty solid actress, pretty solid character presence overall.
well, I think she like perfectly personifies like the vault dweller in the game who first comes out of the like, you know, vault, and we know nothing about the outside world. We're very naive in the game because we don't know anything about it, you know. So like I think each character shows that, like the charisma, you know, parts, you know. We're like, okay, there's some luck happening here, you know, or the mysterious stranger, like, you know, kind of like hints, you know, that we see. So like I don't know, I really like that part of it as well. So I think she's gonna, you know, as the wasteland changes her, she's becoming more, you know, adaptable to it. Especially in New Vegas, it showed in the Deathclaw scene, or not the Deathclaw scene, the Ghoul scene, where she's just popping them off like left and right. Like, yes, let's go.
Suddenly, everybody's on their feet cheering and shouting at the TV. So it also brings up Matt, you and I talked about this a little bit too. Just if you can say what you want about Bethesda, and if you like certain games, don't like certain games, but I think what they've taken with a really open world concept through a lot of their games, whether it be Fallout, Skyrim series, various others, I really think that's kind of set the standard for, okay, if you're going to do approach an open world game, it's basically showing people, okay, we have the ability to do it, we have the technology to do it, to where you can just completely open it up and really maximize user customization and experience. And one that me and Matt like to play really big into. We're still waiting for the next installment to come out. It seems like it's forever, but the Shadow of War series, or the Shadow of Mordor and then Shadow of War series, to where it wasn't completely open world, but I feel like at least for Lord of the Rings, it was really well done in that aspect. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I've heard of
yeah, I
those
definitely
ones.
agree. It's one of the best games.
I'm sorry,
it's
I
a
didn't
must
mean to
play.
interrupt.
They're very.
I think there's a lag.
No, you're fine. Yeah, there's definitely a big lag on my end. No, those games are very well done. Going back to Bethesda and their open world experience, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they come up with Starfield?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a failure. 100%. Not a good game. At least in my opinion. I haven't met anybody that's really loved the game. Maybe I'm wrong. Have you guys met anybody that's really talked up Starfield?
I've had a couple of my followers that play a little bit, but I haven't seen too much about it, to be honest.
I think I haven't played it personally, so I can't offer a review yet. But funny enough, I just saw that it just got released on PlayStation like 2 days ago, available for play. So I'll probably wait for a sale to come out for it. But I definitely plan on at least giving it a fair shake, if nothing else for the and that's what I love about Bethesda games, in the sense that, okay, if you're in the mood to play the main story mission, okay, awesome, you can jump right in. Or hey, you know what, I'm having an off day, I got like 20 minutes to kill, I just want to like wander around and just like run into stuff, or like, oh, let's go see what's over here and just explore a little bit. And once again, just infinite possibilities for whatever you're feeling that particular day. You can at least somewhat get enjoyment out of it. But so hopefully my take on Starfield's a little bit better, but fingers crossed, I suppose.
Well, don't put much stock into it.
And like I said, I'll wait for it to go on sale. So even if it ends up being a bust, I'll at least, okay, I didn't pay full price for it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just cheap. Anyways.
One thing I would suggest is check the storage capacity on your PlayStation, see how much you got left. It is a massive download. And then with all the updates, it's gonna take up a lot of space.
That's fair. And I've heard that what was it? Somebody said that there's some kind of patch or there's some kind of a download that where a number of fans essentially modified the game to where it essentially became a Star Wars game, with all the skins and mods and whatnot. And it literally just, I mean, it's like a massive patch or download, whatever it is, and to where that's literally what it ended up being. It's like, oh, that's, if nothing else, maybe I can at least find that and get, enjoy that aspect of it if that's true.
Yeah, modders like do an amazing job with Fallout 76 as well. Like some of the things I've seen. I don't actually play 76 right now. I kind of am going through Fallout 1, 2, and then Brotherhood of Steel Tactics. So I got like a deal on Steam for it. But I plan on going through it because I really like building and decorating in games. But modders have done amazing things with that game as well.
Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, just being able to leave it open like that for people to kind of have their own take on it, and then people can either choose to kind of just do the base thing, or hey, if they're really into them, okay, just endless customization. Then and that's 1 week, and then the next week something else gets released, and it's just and. I'll tell you what, though, I think I think I tried it once, and I think Matt can attest to this as well. Is like I think 76, and there's a couple other game studios that have done this to where they'll release a game, but it'll be exclusively an online game, or or they'll release a base game that's very minuscule, but then in order to enjoy the whole thing, it's like, oh, you have to get this DLC, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, you pay for the base game of like $60-$70, whatever it is now, and then it's like, oh, and now to get the full experience of it, it just has to go from there, and it's just, I would say, moderately frustrating to say the least. I mean, especially those of us that before DLC and all that kind of stuff. Okay, the game was the game. You bought the game, and that was it. And then, okay, maybe a little extra content here and there for DLC, but I think at least in some instances, it's gotten far to the wrong side of things, where it's like, oh, buy the base game, but then you have to download X, Y, and Z, and it gets out of hand pretty fast.
Yes, for sure. I definitely agree with that.
Well, I think it was it was Fallout 76. There was a Star Wars game that was released a while back, and I think just at least half a dozen that have tried it. And I can't imagine they've gotten two positive reviews on it, but I digress. So Zombree, we've obviously Fallout. You mentioned Lord of the Rings. Is there any other hidden I guess franchises, nerdism, any other series, anything else any others you're a fan of as well?
Yeah, I love Star Wars as well. Harry Potter. I ended up naming my daughter after Bellatrix Lestrange. So yeah.
We have a Harry Potter hater in here.
Yeah. See, I always thought I was a Gryffindor, but I took the test and supposedly I'm a Slytherin. So take with that with what you will. But I think it's just, my name is like the perfect way to describe it. Zombree. It's like my dark side and my light side coming together. It's like if a Sith and a Jedi met together, it's somewhere in the middle, I guess, in a way. I'm both. But yeah, so that's that part of me, but I'm a good Slytherin, I have a good heart, it's just my enemies gotta watch out.
I think they get a bad rep. I mean, you only ever see the really, the bad ones. You never hear about, just Joey and Samantha who are in Slytherin, just, going to school every day, going to class, doing the right thing, you never hear about them. It's always the worst case scenarios you hear about.
Right. Yeah, the Dracos and
yeah you hear about the
yeah.
What'd you say, Matt? I think you cut out a little bit.
Yeah, you only hear about the ones trying to take over the world.
Oh, yeah. The infamous. That's the other spectrum of it, There's fame and there's infamy. I don't want to be infamous. But maybe fall out. I wouldn't mind too much. Actually, one of my followers was like, you kind of look like Moldaver. I was like, maybe I can make like a cosplay where I'm like Moldaver's daughter or something. Yeah,
I'm sure you can pull it off.
Lucy brings back from the darkness, into the light, the raider that turns good type thing,
Well, what's the old joke? It's like, you have Darth Vader tried to conquer the galaxy. You had Sauron who tried to conquer, Middle Earth, essentially a continent-sized element, and then you got Voldemort who couldn't conquer a high school. Oh, um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you thought you're so powerful. Yeah, no. No, but people forget that Darth Vader turned good at the end, He was a good guy at the end. Right at the end.
well, and I feel like it's kind of weird. I mean, going back, I mean, it happened at first, obviously, when the prequels came out, and it's like, okay, you already know what happens later down the line. Okay, you're literally watching it, enjoying it to see, okay, how they eventually got there. And I think this is really prevalent in the Clone Wars series, which I think Matt's watched at nauseum a number of times through. I think I watched maybe twice through. I'm slowly getting my youngest to slowly converting him to drowning him in Clone Wars episodes to indoctrinate him properly. But with that being said, it's like even that series, it's like you're sitting there, you're rooting for the clones, the Republic, this, that, and the other. But in the back of your mind, there's that thought of, okay, I know it's coming. I know the horrible part's coming, where it's just like, no, I don't want it to. Then it just, then they get to the last season and you just kind of see everything unfold. And it's satisfying, but it's just also like you're dreading it the entire time as you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the balance, It's like, but that makes the good part so much better, like where it's like so much more like, yes, like the good guys got them, like got the Death Star,
And pretty much, and I'd say endlessly rewatchable, even if it's like, something to have on the background while you're doing something else at minimum, or just like, oh, I could watch that again for the 1,000th time. Too easy.
Yeah. I'd say like another one is Game of Thrones for me. My husband got me into Game of Thrones a lot too. Yeah, and all into House of the Dragon. You guys watch those as well?
So I've watched the Game of Thrones series. I think
Yes.
Matt, you said you watched it at least once.
Yeah, I've watched Game of Thrones all the way through at least 3 times.
Yeah.
House of Dragon, I'm not a big fan of House of the Dragon. I think they're leaving a lot of meat on the bone. I don't know if it's the acting or the actors, the choice of actors, but I feel like they could be doing a lot better than they are.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a centered around drama more. I like how Game of Thrones is more action, like the gritty, like Battle of the Bastards scene is like one of the best scenes, I'd say.
Yeah.
So like, that's
the story.
That's why I like the Dunk and Egg, the the new Night of the Seven Kingdoms show. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I have not started that one yet. I
think you'll like that way better than House of Dragon.
Good.
It like brings it back to what I think a knight should be, like honorable,
Yeah. Is that on HBO? Is that also on HBO?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's really good.
See, and I could be wrong. I think I can
Thrones.
Buddy.
Yeah. See, I read all the books, and I'm just obsessed with it. I'm like waiting for George to like bring that other book out. Come on, we've been waiting for it forever, man. He's been working on the Lord of the Rings game, and I'm like, come on, George, what is it? Tell me about the book.
Well, can you attest to this? Or what was it like right at the end of the TV series? It was something about it, like a lot of fans were upset or disappointed because they didn't have the ending. He didn't have the ending written yet, and so the makers of the show had to take some liberties with things, and it just fans were just like totally outraged towards the end. Or there was all this, everybody was upset, and it's like, well, and yeah, I guess I can somewhat give the studio a little bit of leeway because, okay, they're sitting there waiting, checking their watches. Come on, Martin, finish this book. We got a show to make. And in that I can kind of get it, but yeah, I can also see why fans would be in outrage especially if giant fans of the books going in and they just kind of pull that on you.
Well, yeah, because Dave and Dan really didn't have much to work from, because in the books, Daenerys hasn't even landed in Westeros. So, yeah, they had to like make up all of that, her coming over and everything. So, and there's a whole other character in the books that they left out in the show, like Aegon. Like, there's a different Aegon that is Rhaegar and Princess. I can't think of her names. I can't think of her name right now.
Rhaenyra's.
Elia Martell, Princess Elia Martell. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. It's hard the fans of the books are never going to be happy with the movies. Kind of like as a masterpiece of Lord of the Rings was. Like, it won't compare to how the books are because of the details, like what the characters are thinking, like you can't add all of that in a movie.
Well, I will give him this, and me and Matt have talked about this before, to where I feel like I can really respect Jackson for what he did, especially in terms of when he was doing the Hobbit series, because I feel like from his perspective, he made it so he could satisfy both audiences. There's the audience that only watched the movies, that never read a book in their life,
Right.
and so he inserted things that weren't necessarily in the Hobbit book, but things that connected to the original trilogy, and just even things pulling from the Silmarillion and some other sources that was still accurate to the lore. But just it just helped it, so even if you never read the books, it added a little bit more of a continuity to things. But also at the same time, whatever changes they did make, I mean, sure, there's entire parts they have to leave out. I think me and Matt went on a whole rant about Tom Bombadil for half an episode once, of just even if they really explored that in the Fellowship of the Ring, I mean, it's like it's this whole other thing that it's explored that's would take away from the rest of the film itself, or kind of take away from the theme that it was going. But I think we were both at least really satisfied with, if maybe not the entire Rings of Power series, at least with the second season and how they've portrayed Bombadil in that. And I think, for whatever reason, we made the joke that Jack Black would have been an amazing choice for Tom Bombadil, because I feel like he would have just owned that role. But I feel like the choice that they did make really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. You said you're talking of the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
I loved it, honestly, and I've seen both sides of it as well. My friend Rona, who's really into it as well, she didn't like really kind of how they portrayed Galadriel, because in the movies, she's like very feminine and flowing, and like in the show you kind of see like a different side to her, like the warrior side, maybe what she used to be. And like in other books and movies that we've seen, that warriors, tend to soften sometimes, and they're, down the road. So I could see how she could become that, but everyone has their different perceptions of the show. But I like it a lot, and I like who they casted as Elrond. He's young Ned in the Game of Thrones series as well, so I think it's awesome.
I don't think I'd caught that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it. My big beef with Rings of Power and Galadriel was they kind of like made it seem like she was falling in love with Sauron while she was married. I mean, she was married that whole time. So it's just like kind of stretching that a little bit. Like, really? Like, the true fans know she's married already, and you're going to try and make us think that she's falling in love with Sauron? Like, it just...
Yeah, this dark, broody guy. Yeah. You could be my queen.
Yeah.
You could rule beside me. Yeah.
Maybe they leaned a little bit too far into the realm of trying to just appease the people who hadn't read the books before. It's like, oh, we'll add this slightly romantic arc to make it, just to make the eventual reveal all the more dramatic. But yeah, like you said, just people who knew the story ahead of time is like, yeah, no, we're not buying it. Just stop.
Yeah.
So we've covered Fallout, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, essentially all the major, I would argue the major, some of the major franchises, pop culture icons, and so forth. How about, I'll tell you what about maybe a lesser known or a lesser mainstream series, whether it be show, movies, books, that might be a personal favorite of yours? Not to put you on the spot.
I guess I could say Doctor Who, though I haven't watched much lately. I got into it in college, and it's been running for a while, since the '60s. But it's just, it's kind of corny, like it's kind of cheesy and like the animations. But like I've always been into sci-fi and sorry. So the little like bits they do in there just always got me. So actually it's funny because I was at the zoo earlier today and someone made a Doctor Who reference, and you usually don't get those references. It's like not a big fan base, but every time I catch it I'm like, oh, there's another Whovian.
Until you show up at somebody's house and they have the TARDIS sitting in the middle of their living room, and you're just in awe. Yeah, I can't. I've had a few friends over the years that have definitely been into it. I don't think it's ever one I've quite jumped on or really checked out. But I think just the fact that, like you said, it's been on for so long and it just keeps evolving. I mean, there's got to be something to it. There has to be at least semi-dedicated fan base, or else it wouldn't be successful enough to where they can able to keep funding it and just keep progressing along with the story.
Sorry about that. Say that again, please. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just saying that. I mean, there really has to be something to it. I'd imagine. As long as it's been going on, there has to be, whether it be a really dedicated fan base or just kind of passing it on from one generation to the next, and really just being able to adapt itself to, what appealed to maybe fans in the '80s of the show maybe doesn't appeal to fans in the early 2000s.
Right.
So they have to maybe adapt things or kind of tailor it to the audience. And I feel like they have to be doing something right to it's still ongoing, it's still successful, it's still in the mainstream.
I can understand that because, like, especially with the animatronics, or like people put more effort, I would think, into like effects back in the day, where like the creatures looked like really cool, and nowadays it still looks very cool, like way realistic. But I feel like that's like one of the things they really liked about it, maybe. I'm just saying on my own opinion, but that could be the reason. Or a certain doctor they get attached to,
Well, that, and then you get attached to him, and then he changes, whether it be the next season or the next series, and then you're just like, oh. But was it? I think a recent one I'm slowly trying to get through, and it's another one of those where you're kind of just dreading every episode because you kind of know what's coming. But I started. Me and my wife really got into the show, the Rookie, in more recent years, and then Nathan Fillion, big fan of a lot of his work, and you always hear about Firefly, the whole. Everybody, there's a lot of people that loved it. It was a great show. In the biggest downturn, it was only on for one season, and then I think they did a movie to kind of do a little backstory or spinoff. And I think that it's one of those where I haven't quite fully jumped in and explored it, but it's definitely I think if you go into it accepting the fact that, okay, it was made in the early 2000s, kind of go into it with that mindset, you can kind of get over, maybe some of the, special effects are a little cheesy, it's a little campy.
Yeah, you gotta use your imagination a little more for it,
I did think it was funny though when you're seeing spaceships and aliens and all this stuff, and then you hear real like guns, like bullets and like those. Okay, that's what they're using. They're not using lasers or futuristic tech. They're using stuff you can buy down the street. But I digress. What about you, Matt? Any random offshoot series, shows, less mainstream things that you can think of that stay on your radar? Not to put you on the spot.
That'd be a hard one for me I just watch so much. And I enjoy so much. It's really hard for me to say.
Feel you there.
I'm trying to think of one that most people don't, and I can't really think of one. I won't think of it until after we're done with this episode.
That's fair. I mean, that's usually how it goes. Or like, 10 minutes from now, it's like, dang, I wish I would have thought of that.
Mm.
Well, actually,
oh,
I take it back. I take that back. And it's not because it's not that it's main, or how do I put this? It's not mainstream because it wasn't good. It's just not everybody has Apple Plus or Apple TV.
Okay.
My go-to is going to be Ted Lasso all day long. I think that's one of the best TV series, one of the best TV series in my lifetime. I mean, it's just I think I'm 3 or 4 times watching through now for just because like that's my go-to. If I'm sitting around flipping through Netflix, I'm like, man, I just really don't know what I want to watch. I can flip on Ted Lasso and any episode that pops up, and it's going to hit the spot every time. And that's definitely got to be my go-to.
Hey, I mean, it's hard to argue with it. I can't say I feel differently. I honestly forget sometimes, like, it's an option when I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's something to put on? I got about like less than an hour before I'm going to go to bed. What's something I just put on so I can just kind of relax and unwind? But yeah, I would definitely agree that that's definitely up there on the, okay, if you have nothing else, so I could always throw this on and get some kind of enjoyment out of it.
Nice. Yeah, yep. I'd have to say, unfortunately,
I haven't most beloved character. Oh, well, if you're missing out, you gotta watch.
I'll definitely have to check it out for sure.
It's one of those. It's on some level, he's almost so ridiculous that you can't help but smile and just love the character. Like, and just it's really difficult to describe it. Even if you got to like go borrow a friend's Apple Plus account for a day or a night just to give it a try. Yes, could not recommend it more. Oh, and as you can see, lots of everybody's got families, kids. It's always fun to try to, I think dog's been trying to get on my lap the entire time we've been recording. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we usually probably start wrapping things up here in a couple minutes. Matt, any closing thoughts, comments, anything at all?
No, the only thing I have to say is after meeting you and going to that Fallout event, I'm not a Fallout guy. I've never really played it. I've played maybe a couple hours worth, but I'm definitely more inclined to getting in, giving it a try, and I'm going to see where it goes. I'm kind of in a neutral zone right now with video games. I don't really know which direction I want to go. So I feel like there's no better place to go right now than go try Fallout.
Oh yeah, heck yeah! I say dive into the wasteland, man, and you'll find your groove. You'll find like the faction that you like to, side with, and sometimes you just want to mess around. Some days I just like open a new save and like just kind of like roam around the wasteland and see what's going on. Right now I'm on like I see my 4th like full playthrough, and I'm doing the railroad faction right now. So you can see who you like, who you don't like. Sometimes you just want to get the outfits. Like I collect all the little outfits in the game. Sometimes I'll just spend the whole night building stuff. You'll find what you like to do in the game. What like makes you happy, I'd say. And like reading the little terminals too. There's like stories you can find out, like little juicy tidbits about characters that you meet. You're like, ooh, I know something about them. Like that's one of the fun parts I love about the game. I like how deep it is.
Nice.
That's one of my wife's favorite things to do too. Like she'll just sit there hours just at the workbench, just crafting and building her little settlements and whatnot. It's just like it's like Minecraft, like the same kind of I think high people get from playing Minecraft, but it's like a lot more gritty and a lot more, it's just a different flavor of it. But I think the same kind of mental satisfaction. Well, Zombree, any closing thoughts, comments, or anything at all before we wrap this episode up?
I've just had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys tonight. Really appreciate you guys bringing me on.
Well, speak for all of us.
Anytime.
really happy to have you on. Hopefully, have you on again sometime in the future. Fingers crossed. We got, I think, about 2 weeks before we have our live episode at PopCon. Hoping all goes well. Matt is not so secretly hoping to run into Sam Wise while we're there at some point. So, fingers crossed as well.
Rightly so. Rightly so.
Look
Well, all
forward to
right.
seeing you there.
What's that?
I'm looking forward to seeing him there.
Yeah, we'll probably get kicked out because you'll see him and instantly freak out and try to go give him a hug, and he'll have his security sick you. Worth it, but still.
We look eye to eye.
Well, all right, that'll do it for all of us here at the High Ground. And until next time, stay nerdy, stay knowledgeable,
And always take the high ground.
see you next time.